We're going to put two new tires all the way around this 2019 Ural motorcycle. Here you can see the wrench isn't fitting very well on that, so I eventually had to bang it in with my hand. Ta-da! I forgot to film putting the tire back on, but that nut, when you put the tire back on, just snug it up and align your holes for the capsule nut. I forgot to record the removal of the front tire. Now you can get a screwdriver and put it between the pinch points on the front axle that squeezes the axle together, or you could do like I did and just beat it in. Now this axle is reverse thread. At some point during this, I accidentally, on purpose, squeezed the front brake lever. So now I have to be careful and pry them apart. Now between the caliper and the mounting point, there were shims. So I'm putting those in with my bolt. And again, I did not record the removal of the rear tire, but it's just the opposite of what we are doing here. So getting the rear tire lined up with the splines and stuff was easier with two people. will be tapping the axle in a little bit so I can get the nut on the other side started. Because this is two-wheel drive, you're working on the end of the axle that goes to the sidecar, so it's in kind of a tight spot. Now that I got it started, I'm going to hammer it all the way in so I can tighten the nut finger tight. And that's inside there is where that nut is. Now I like to have this hole straight up for when I strap it down in the trailer. So I rotated that before I tightened my pinch points. That's the bolt that holds the brake pads in. And once you get these tight, on the end there's a little clip that goes on the end of these bolts that helps hold everything if it comes loose. There's a bracket that I just realized that is now underneath the axle, and no matter how hard I try to push it through the axle, it's not going. I see there's one bolt there. Instead of undoing everything I've done to this point, I get the wrench to take that bracket off. So before I tighten everything, I just get all the bolts started. This might have been easier to do before I put the caliper on. I tighten that bracket bolt back up. And now I'm finishing tightening this axle nut after I got everything done. And in your kit, it comes with a little pry bar there. And it was easier just to flip the wrench back and forth in order to get on that nut. And the last thing I'm going to do is check my differential bolts to make sure they're all tight. Please like, share, and subscribe.